I'm the scat man. I'm the scat man.
The stacks were still stacking yesterday, but
They're back.
Cates, Forrester, and Brink. Plus
Yes.
800. Plus 800 for the trio.
Back up the Brinks truck.
Oh,
Yes.
I am in love with that line. Welcome to Covers This Puck Props with 14-year NHL vet Carlo Colaiacovo, presented by Sports Interaction. Good to see the pumpers there pumping on a Wednesday morning. We get things going with a little like, a little share, a little subscribe, free content. Do your part. Brewski says solid night.
Yes, Brewski.
Toffoli and Eklund have hit their stacks in 7 of their last 9 games. Whether they're playing with Celebrini, whether they're playing with Wenberg, whether San Jose's averaging 2.25 goals per game. That team is a dumpster fire, but those guys are profitable. We could say that.
Yeah.
Interesting little slate today. What else did we hit? Todd Harley just stepping in and being an absolute stud.
Hero, 3 seconds left.
Yeah. Adams Digest says Will Smith and Zetterlund is awesome too. Yes, I couldn't find that Zetterlund point yesterday, which kind of sucks, but there should be some good situations for some stacks today. And we got some non-stacking stuff. Let's start off. Toronto, Vegas. In the chat, let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're betting on. Vegas, minus 135. Home favorite, over under sitting at 6. Let's get the bet out there, and then we'll get the rundown. Noah Hannafin for an assist at plus 150. Got the Harley. Juices flowing yesterday, so I say, you know what? Let's go look for some more PP1 guys. PP1, getting that assist.
Has Hannafin playing PP1?
Yeah, Theodore's out. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just such a big jump, and like to go from like 22 minutes to like 25 minutes is pretty substantial in terms of where you're getting those extra 3 minutes, right? Yeah. It's not like you're just getting them on the defensive end. No, you're getting them in good spots. Tanev out, Theodore out, Carlson out. Toronto 5-0-1 since the break, but as many points as Florida and 3 more as Tampa Bay. As hot as they have been, Carlo, third place is still in their future in that division, which is crazy, scary, right?
Yeah.
Right? So here we are. Oh, Maple Leafs money line. I don't like it. I don't like their schedule. Their schedule has just been so difficult, no?
Yeah. Well, they got 6 games in 9 days right now coming out of the break.
Yeah, home at Chicago, at Boston, at New York, at Pittsburgh, home to San Jose on the back-to-back, and now in Vegas.
Yeah. And it's a quick turnaround to Vegas too, right? I mean, only 1 day to get in there. And then they got 2 days off before their next game, before the trade deadline, as they play in Colorado after that. But
yeah, you got to go Utah, Colorado stack.
What's that?
They got to go the elevation Utah, Colorado stack.
Right. And so I would just, like, if you look at the schedule, like usually, remember me and you used to identify schedule losses. This has that labeled all over it. A schedule loss for the Maple Leafs. And if they do come up with a win, I mean, they're capable of it for sure. It just seems like they've got a lot stacked against them going into this game.
Andres Sanchez says Big Val almost came through. He certainly did. Couldn't get one more shot for his birthday, but he did get that power play point and was alluding to the fact that he was on power play 1 when people were saying he was on power play 2.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, like back to that schedule spot, like this is just their 5th game since the restart. They are coming back from the East Coast for Sunday. Toronto has held an opponent. I mentioned this Friday. Toronto has held an opponent to 1 or fewer goals just once in their last 14 games. So it's almost like they're getting out of what was making them so successful early on. Is this a Wall or a Stolarz start? What do you think?
I think it's a Wall start because Stolarz started last game, and I'm not sure they're in any hurry to be playing, their goalies down to the ground. I mean, we talked about the schedule. I don't know why you throw Stolarz into not a back-to-back game, but in consecutive starts game with this much of travel in between. So I would imagine it's going to be a Wolves start.
Inside saying Dorofeyev hurdle stack plus 190. I'd be careful in terms of nothing to do with that, but I'm seeing on left wing lock, they have Tanner Pearson on the top line with Victor Olofsson going to line 4. So maybe don't jump at that one. But Hannafin has a goal and 4 assists in the 4 games without Theodore, so he's been taking over that PP1 spot. And Vegas, multi-power play goals in back-to-back games, so you like to see that, especially with that travel, quick turnaround to Vegas. Stone Hannafin stack, Adams Digest says. Kurt Romero says, what's up with the controllers in the background over your right shoulder? Those are your 4 TV remotes, right?
Yeah, I've got 4 TVs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, there it is. That's it. Someone said they were Wii remotes.
They were Wii remotes. Yeah.
I did get into some late night Wii sessions with the boys while the family was away. Nothing like Wii golf.
They said they're for my CPAP machine.
That's pretty funny. All right, so like I said,
here, just quickly, I'll give the audience a little glimpse here of what I'm dealing with.
Oh, I haven't even seen this glimpse. Oh, and he's got those
seen
wood.
This?
No, and you get those are the wooden
jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah, those are dope.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my office. Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Thanks for the tour. Thanks for the tour. All right, but like I said, as many points as Florida, just 3 more than Tampa Bay. Third place is in. Friday's the deadline. What would be your grocery shopping list right now? If you're going to grade them probably this week, A+, what do they need to get an A+?
For the Leafs, center ice, you mean?
Yeah.
Look, I for me, obviously the A+ move is Brock Nelson, because the thing that has troubled this Maple Leafs team in playoffs has been their lack of big-time goal scoring. I mean, they've 13 straight games that they scored 2 goals or less in consecutive years in the playoffs. So he's the guy that can add that offensive punch. But I think it's pretty clear to understand that regardless of what move they make, the guys that are going to be expected to lead them are going to be the top 4 forwards that they've relied on year after year with Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander. So do you really go out and try to, add more scoring punch to that group? Yeah, if you can, but it's easier said than done in a salary cap world. I think in an ideal world, I would look for an upgrade at the third line center ice position. And there's a couple of names that have been mentioned. Obviously, Scott Lawton is on the top of my list because I played with him and Craig Berube's coached him. And he's a guy that can, fit that need in any role you ask. Braden Shen, I think, is more of a wishful thinking type of move because, St. Louis is right back in the playoff mix. I don't think they're going to be, I don't think they're going to be in any urgency to trade him unless they get a deal that they can't refuse with him. And I don't think anybody's going to be offering that for Braden Shen. So those are the 3 guys that I would look at. I mean, I like the idea of bringing in a Brandon Tanev, Chris Tanev's brother, playing in Seattle. Hard-nosed type of guy.
Best pitcher.
Yeah.
Best photo ever.
Yeah.
Right? NHL
the confused look. The scary look. People talk about Yanni Gord. I think that could be a move too, but those are type of the moves that I would expect. I don't think we're going to see anything significant happen here just because, one, I don't think that there's many sellers out there compared to, buyers.
The East might have 2 teams selling.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can get your hands on Sidney Crosby, if he decides to change his mind this morning that he wants to get traded, then yeah, that's the all-in move for sure.
That would be so cool. I want that so bad. I would enjoy it. My wish list, Toronto wish list. It's not exciting because I don't think you really need to. Like, you just need to take some minutes maybe off those guys' plays. You can't have Marner playing 25 minutes a game. So Ryan Donato, I just have too much love for him, and your boy Mario Ferraro, the guy, no teeth. He's got a food blog show. I think he's from the city. I don't know. I think you need defenseman depth. So I don't think that stuff's too expensive. Speaking of expensive, and we'll get to the Ovi stuff here, but let's go Washington Rangers. Rangers even money, over under sitting at 6. Rangers money line. Rangers back-to-back 4-0 shutouts. Dogfight with 4 points separating 9th to 14th. Just an absolute gauntlet right now in the East. Washington coming off an ugly 5-4 shootout win versus Ottawa, where they blew that 3-1 lead. They gave up the late goal. Spencer Carberry, what he says, we'll certainly take the win because we've been reeling a little bit at home here, but it didn't look good out there. Didn't feel good at any point of the game. So we'll look at a few things, but we'll take the 2 points. And that's a rough spot. And then you look at the other side, you look at how Peter Laviolette and the Rangers are.
Yeah.
He's just saying, like, teams can definitely gain an advantage in terms of how they have to play playoff hockey at this point. With Washington comfortably in the first place spot in the division and now having to deal with all the Ovi hype, like, can that be a distraction at this point when you're not in a dogfight? If the coach can't
I don't think so. I mean, look, Washington's put themselves in a position where they can afford this type of, stretch of inconsistent play because, they've got a 10-point lead on the division. I mean, I don't think winning the President's Trophy is high on the priority list for them. They'll take it if they can get it, but it's not like they're saying, oh, after every loss, we're going to lose out on the President's Trophy. I think right now, obviously, the talk around the team is Ovechkin, right? It's not concern about the team and their struggles as of late, even though it's uncharacteristic with the struggles that they have been dealing with. But clearly, I don't think any attention is going to be taken away from Ovechkin and the race that he finds himself in.
10 more goals to tie. If he gets in an empty net, what do you think?
Well, whatever works. I mean, I think in an ideal world, you hope it's not in an empty net. The perfect goal for Ovi that anybody would want to see him break the record with, it's his patented, spot on the ice, top of the circle, slap shot into the back of the net. That's how we know to see Ovi score a lot of his goals. So if you're trying to write a script, that's the goal you want to see. But a goal is a goal, and you'll take it any way you can get it. And, people want to, complain about, empty net goals shouldn't count. You know how many games Ovechkin has missed that he had no impact on with the lockouts, with the COVID shortened seasons. I mean, there's close to 150 games that were taken away from this guy that were, games that he had no impact in. So if he's going to score empty net goals, that's the easy way for him to play catch up. So I'm all for it.
I'm going to make a highlight reel of all his empty net goals this year.
You are?
And just see if Washington gets angry, like Washington fans get angry.
What does he have, like 13 on the year?
No, he's got 7 right now.
7, okay.
Yeah. 731. I think it's like close to 20. I think it's 22% of his goals this year. You can go bet whether he'll score into an empty net. He'll score his game-breaking one this year in an empty net around plus 350.
Well, you can even bet the team that he's going to do it against. And if you look at games 79 and 80, it's back-to-back against Columbus. It's the team he scored his first NHL goal against.
Columbus, that's
the goal he scored his first NHL goal against. So you talk about right?
There you go. Advanced
plus
metric.
500 is paying too. Columbus, the team that he's going to break the record against.
All right. We'll look into it. Advanced metrics, very exciting stuff. Washington, the luckiest team over the last 10 games, at all strength, and every percent stat below 50. So Corsi 4, Fenwick, expected goals for, high danger chances for percentage, all that exciting stuff, all below 50%. I know you love it. Ottawa, Chicago. I'm like, the Kings are absolutely going to destroy Chicago. Spencer Knight just got there. No communication with his team. Seth Jones, 24 minutes gone. And all of a sudden he stops 42 shots versus the Kings?
41 out of 42.
Oh, wow. So we're going, my boy, Ryan Donato for a point. The point was minus 125. And I said, you know what? We're going to add his 2+ shots. Plus 130. We're going to boost that up a bit. He's the highest shooting guy on that team. He's not playing on the Bedard line, but if you've seen what he's done last 30 days, Ryan Donato, 7 goals, 9 assists in 10 games.
Wow. That's a hot player.
Bedard over that stretch, a goal and 3 apples.
Not good, eh? What's Elias Pettersson in that stretch?
We'll get to We'll get to the sad man Pettersson in a bit. But Ottawa, most shots allowed since the restart, 35.5. PK has allowed 4 goals over their last 2 games. Chicago, a better spot at home. His minutes are up big time. He's the shooter on the line with Tuevo. He's not playing with Bedard anymore. That belongs to Slaggert and Nazar. And Nazar. It's like every time you look, you're like, oh, they got a new winger to play with Bedard. Just absolutely embarrassing. Oh, Jake Moore says the Bedard, Nazar, Stützle, Kachuk quad. They're going the double-double. But as he said, Bedard is a dead. Take out the Bedard and Nazar. Go Donato and Tuevo. That's the way we go. So, I mean, we got a lot of West Coast games here today. That's what I'm
not excited about tonight. Tonight's not a good night for early morning radio.
No. You don't even get a 7 o'clock game. But we keep going. St. Louis at the Kings. Kings minus 160 over under 5.5. As you mentioned, St. Louis winning, crawling things back. Kings, just an awful road team, but one of the best at home. But St. Louis looks good right now. They're not going to sell. Team total over 2.5. The Kings. Now talk to me about this. They're back from the East Coast. Monday lost to Chicago. 0-3 on the road trip. They're 0 in their last 4. They got outscored on that road trip 15-4. Including a 4-1 loss to St. Louis, where the Blues scored 4 unanswered goals. Tough schedule spot for the Kings here after just getting dummied on the road. East Coast to West Coast.
The first game home is always a tough one, right? And if you look at this matchup, St. Louis has won the last 3 in their matchups, and St. Louis is playing more desperate hockey right now. If you look at, they lost 6-3 the other night, but with Calgary's win yesterday, they're 3 points out, and Calgary, who owns the final playoff spot, still has a game in hand on St. Louis. So the reason why I bring that up is because this game is so important for the direction that St. Louis decides to go in the next 48 hours that follows, because if they lose this game, they're going to be 3 points out, and Calgary's going to have 2 games in hand on them. So really, they could be 5 or 7 points out if Calgary makes up those games with wins. So I would think that if St. Louis wants their GM to either stand pat or be a buyer instead of a seller, this is a massive game for them.
And everybody's just tugging at my heartstrings right there, because that's exactly what I have. Whenever I bet Kempe point, Fogle gets the point. Whenever I go the other side, it's a tough spot because the LA Kings offense is kind of like 3 lines. That Fogle, Danault, Moore line gets some time. Even the power plays are like 60-40, so even power play 1 doesn't get a lot of time. They've been moving the lines. They're losing, so they could mix things up again. Don't trust them. No one trusts them. I think a lot of people wanted to trust them versus Chicago, but that might have been the last straw. What was I laughing at? Sorry. Boog says Bedard is speed dating line mates. It's pitiful. That's exactly what he's doing right now. You? No? Okay. Next. Thomas and Buchnevich plus 170. Decent stack. Thomas is riding a 10-game point streak, collecting 4 goals and 10 assists over that spot. But the St. Louis penalty kill, one of the worst in all of hockey. They've given up 5 straight power play goals. Their opponents are 5 for 5 against them, I believe, including that 4 for 4 mark Dallas put on them in that 6-3 shootout. Not shootout, but track meet game. St. Louis team total over 2.5. Love it. St. Louis has been an absolute dog. Yeah. Offense, 3+ goals in 7 straight, and top 3 in scoring chances, goal percentage in the last 10. So like it. Last one, wrap things up on the 5th game. Anaheim, Vancouver. Like, what are we doing on Anaheim, Vancouver? This is as exciting as I get on this game, because it's plus 250 versus Anaheim, and it's Hedel and Garland. Line 2, PP1. The price is right. I don't care what the names are. I really don't care who the names are. It's opportunity in the spot. But Anaheim goes in, lays a thumping in Edmonton, goes to Vancouver, where it's sad in Vancouver. 1-4 straight up since the return with 1-3-2 win.
And I think Quinn Hughes re-injured himself yesterday, didn't he? Did he miss yesterday?
Re-injured himself.
Yeah.
And they said he wasn't at practice. They said that was a scheduled maintenance day, so we won't know. So it could be one of those situations where we might have to go for Philip Hronek and see if he can go. That will be a big one. If Hughes is out, Hronek will get the PP one time. Mm-hmm. But Pettersson, 2 points since the start of February. 2 points. Like, you can't trust that line. You can't trust him. Like, is he just checked out? Is his bully's gone, right? Like his excuses have kind of gone, but now he's still making more excuses. I don't get it. Like, it's just how much longer can you keep saying, I need to play better before this is the person you are, and what you saw at the beginning of your career was maybe an outlier?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. It's all about, again, people fall in love with projection, right? What they project guys to be instead of just, evaluating who they are now. And right now, Elias Pettersson is a below average hockey player. As simple as that. I mean, you don't have to just go to this season. Go back to last season, too. It's ever since he signed that massive contract, he has not been anywhere close to the player that most people envision him to be. And that's a dominant, point-producing, offense-driving player. And it just seems like they're doing everything they can to make him feel comfortable, but he's not, putting enough importance of, understanding what he needs to do on a nightly basis to help this team win. If anything, he's limiting them from helping the team win because he's not bringing anything. There was a stat that was released yesterday that JT Miller, since the trade, has 14 points in all the games that he's played post-trade, and it's more than Elias Pettersson has shots. Elias Pettersson has 8 shots.
Oh, he's so soft right now.
So I don't know, man. They've got their work cut out for them, and even with the whole Besser, uncertainty whether they keep him, whether they move him, whether they sign him. I don't know. It's just you keep moving players like that out. How do you expect to stay competitive, especially when you're not getting anything from Pettersson?
The last time I won money on a Pettersson bet, it feels like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. 3 years ago, all-star game, hardest slap shot. That's about all you're getting out of Pettersson. Hardest slap shot guy. Thanks, bud. Right. Yeah, thanks. That's where he shined. Oh, boys. Shots fired against Pettersson, and in puck props fashion, Pettersson goes off for 3 points tonight.
Right.
That's how that works. It's Anaheim. Will be a Gibson start. Gibson gave up 6 in his return. He had a little upper body injury where he's out for a bit, comes back, gave up 6 versus Chicago. So you're like, okay, there's got to be a bounce back. I believe he's been very good versus Vancouver over his career. 13-5-2 with a 2.15 goals against average. So either way to look in that, but we're just getting the price. This is a bet on price. Hedel, Garland. Hopefully they don't mix up the lines because they're brutal, but they are losing. So in fashion, maybe
I think Anaheim's a live dog too, right? The way they've been playing, and
if they can get good goaltending, absolutely, for sure. I think so. And they'll be priced just to the basement in terms of back-to-back after winning in Edmonton. Yeah. All right. He is allergic to the stat sheet. Hanifin assist. Rangers money line. Donato over 0.5 points and 2 shots for plus 130. St. Louis team total over 2.5. The only minus money play there. And Hedel Garland for points plus 250. We got to see what happens with the lines today. Could be some more bets later, but that's it. Thanks to the pumpers there, pumping everything up. Always a great. Thanks for the tour, Carlos Cribs. Big show today, Wednesday. Let's get things going. Is it 2 early games and then it's off to bed, right? I don't know if I'll be staying.
Catch the highlights in the morning.
Absolutely. All right, let's leave it at that. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Carlo Colaiacovo. This is NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction. Lead us out, buddy.
Ciao.